Hi everyone. So in this video, I wanted to sort of talk about maybe where we are, Honolulu is in this affordable housing emergency crisis. What does the governor call it? Um, uh, for me, I'm seeing kind of a shift. In the beginning, when it first came out, there were a lot of for sale um, offerings at 140% AMI. Kuele Place comes to mind. And at that time, economy was a little different. Rates were still relatively low, um, and of course there was pushback. At 140% AMI, Honolulu, we're talking about incomes, household income near 150,000. So, it kind of, oh, is that really affordable? It kind of opened up that. So I feel like recently the narrative is kind of switching, and we're seeing a lot more affordable rental projects. And I think that's generally that's a good thing, right? I mean, we need affordable for sale and as well as affordable rentals. These newer projects are, instead of being at 140% AMI, they're kind of coming down. Um, there's a general claim that they're servicing 30% to 100%. Um, from what I've seen the details, it tends to kind of skew. So there's a lot of projects that try to focus 60%, and and then again they'll focus at 100% AMI. So 100% AMI, it's like 100K, maybe 115K a year incomes currently. And again, 60% might be 65 or 70,000 um, income caps, AMI income caps. So um, I guess gonna start kind of getting into this. So um, the governor just issued this fourth iteration of the emergency proclamation that extends this um, these rules, right? The suspension of some laws and whatnot. Um, it's part of the thing. I mean, the power is limited, so part of it is you can keep saying the same emergency over. Nothing keeps you from saying that the emergency over and over and over, and that's what's kind of happening. So it's kind of sort of extending what we've been going through. The first iteration had a lot of huge, like removals of environmental protection, um, a lot of other things that kind of got backed out. So this current iteration, it's better than the first one. Um, I wanted to point out this definition here. It'll come up later. They have this thing called a state affordable housing project. So the land is owned by the state, and the units are either owned by the state or there's some right of the state to reacquire it. Um, that's kind of important because in the suspension of laws clause, they've added this. So 201H, this is the existing affordable housing law. Section 38 allows for all these exemptions. This is what allows projects like Cooley Place to be taller, bigger, whatever, than zoning allows. They can exempt themselves from pretty much any law. Um, and in the original law to an H, it has to go through City Council to approve the exemptions. So this emergency proclamation, um, there's this little clause here that they can they can exempt the need to go through the legislative body. So um, they can exempt going through the city council if it's a state affordable housing project. So based on the definition above. And then they add this clause here that have already received approval. Okay, so the part that I have pause on this is, um, as you've seen above. I mean, they're gonna keep reissuing this emergency proclamation every like whatever 45 days. So when you say already received approval, I mean, so like for example, like document was signed on the 18th of January. So, if HHFDC approved something, back in December, a month ago, um, uh, they would trigger, right? Because they're reissuing this EP. I don't think already received was like from the original, back in, July. So I don't know. To me, it's like, I don't even know if that's even a fair clause. I mean, they're gonna keep on reissuing this emergency proclamation. Each time they reissue, it'll trigger already received, right? If it was received the day before, approval. So, I think it's fair to think that any state affordable housing project that is sort of activated, during this EP, like as they keep renewing it, arguably would qualify here and would essentially not go to, the city council. It goes directly to the, well, for Honolulu, it goes directly to the DPP director. Let me kind of see what there's phrasing in here what it does, but blah, 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 blah. So it doesn't go to the legislative body. Instead, county planning director. So, um, so for us, Honolulu, it's DPP director would be able to approve, um, or deny. One thing I like to note here is, if you've been following along, DPP had, just recently they've input. They're considering changing cities' affordability requirements, and the changes are aligning themselves closer to the state, which is closer to HHFDC. So, um, with the way I saw it, if you think about this now, okay, these state-approved state projects are not going in front of the city council anymore. They're gonna go to the DPP director, and so, um, if the city's guidelines were more aligned with HHFDC, which is kind of what they're proposing, it would make it easier, right, to approve it, right? Because there wouldn't be a disconnect, as far as the affordability levels, right? It would be more aligned. For good or bad, it allow it to be, more easily maybe approved, by the, DPP director, right? Because it would be more aligned. Um, okay, so, let me go to the next thing. Okay, so this is that, state survey or study back in 2019. This is where that number comes from, the 50,000. We need 50,000 units. Um, and I did another set of videos on kind of this, so, I'll put it in some links, but if you're interested, the details of how they got this number. But for the sake of this argument, let's just assume that these numbers are good. Okay, so, state needs 50,000. We're in Honolulu, same kind of Honolulu, so we need half of that. Um, and then when you break it up into, how many owners rental, so it halves again. So rental units that we need, is 10,000 or 11,000, so half of that again. Um, I kind of wanted to highlight this breakdown. So, okay, we need 11,000 rentals, Honolulu. Um, Half of those rentals are needed down here, under 50% EMI. Um, and then, yeah, there's, some, yeah, and then there's some needed way up here, which these are outside of affordability. So this wouldn't, affordable housing projects don't target these. So, um, they don't, and rentals, I've like haven't really seen any rental projects in the above 120. So, um, affordable housing rentals could serve this potentially maybe window, but, um, you can see from the need that, half of the overall need is down here under 50%. Um, so I guess, kind of the question I have, a lot of these projects are coming down. Hey, affordable housing, yeah, it's great. Um, and rentals, right? Because workforce rental housing, which yeah, that's great for sure. But you know, kind of, I think we need to be vigilant as far as are we addressing the true need, right, of these rentals? If you're up here, the 100% EMI is in this 80 to 120. It could be a subset of 1500. We're talking about maybe 1,000 units, right? So we're talking about 10% of the need is at 100% EMI or whatever, right? And maybe there's another 10% around 60. Um, and just to illustrate the kind of an upcoming project, this is the Mayor Wrights proposal. So city or they're planning to kind of redevelop, gentrify affordable housing to make it affordable still, but maybe less so. It's whatever. So it's this new project and it's multiple phases, but let's just talk about they're proposing this phase one, and it's hard to see from this thing, but there's like 911 units in phase one, so almost 1,000 units. Um, and they're saying, okay, 33% are up to 60, 38% or 40 are up to 100. And then, oh yeah, well, we're gonna sell some off, and we're gonna have some, you know, uh, well, yeah, we're gonna sell off this whole section, and some are affordable for sale, and some are just market. Okay, so another what is that? 25%, 26, 27. Okay, so but okay, I wanna kind of highlight where I was before. So when you say up to 60% EMI, when you look at the numbers, they kind of all do this. So um, it's not unique to this project. This is this breakdown here where 80% of them will be at 60%. So it's heavily skewed. There's not that much offered at 30%, 50% EMI. Same here. See, in the missing middle, these are rentals for 80 to 100%, they say, but then it's heavily skewed to 100%. So again, 100% AMI person Honolulu is around 115,000 their income. So you're not rich maybe in Honolulu because cost of living's high, but I mean it's not you know anyway. And again, going back to the need, right, from the state survey. I mean, half of the rental need is under 50%. But yet, when you see these projects, even for this category, they're proposing, 20% of this smaller category. And then if you included this, right, as like one category of rentals, then it's like half of that, right? So, I mean, we're talking about 10% of the units, rental units in this big band from 30 to 100, um, is servicing what the study says is 50%, right, of the need, half the need. So there's definitely some skew here. Um, I had kind of two more things I want to talk about. I might make another video on it. The summary of what I wanted to say was these bands, having these income bands, even if we did this like, more broadly, it creates like, uh, it sort of traps the different, groups that rent in these bands get sort of trapped, and it, it's it's questionable. The concern I had was the long-term viability of being a renter that enters in this type of banded affordable housing framework. But I think I'll continue in a second video. Yeah, thank you for listening.